Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the show. This is another edition of Prime Sports World, and I'm here with a special guest, Minnesota Viking fan, Rob Haspels. What's going on, Rob?
What up, Izzy? Thanks for having me on tonight, brother. It's
Yeah,
been too
no,
long. It's been too long. I haven't talked in a while. What's
right.
going on?
And everybody, we got a special show here because we're talking about the second best team in the NFC North, in the Minnesota Vikings. Um, and like I said, everybody keep it locked down. If you guys want exclusive content, come to Prime Sports World. Go click like and share the podcast. But we got some special things here on the agenda for the Minnesota Vikings, who've definitely made some big splash moves. Changed the head coach, had a great draft, had some big free agent signings. So to Minnesota Viking fans, they got some high expectations for their team this year. Another year with Justin Jefferson, another year of that high-powered offense. So everything's looking pretty good. And some might say they might be the best team in the NFC North, but I'm not going to give you guys that title yet.
Well, I will say this: in order to be the man, you got to beat the man. The Packers have been the man for a while now, and although yes, the wide receiving core took a big hit for the Green Bay Packers and everything, losing Devontae and several other mainstays that have been there for a while. They still have a ferocious defense and a stellar running game, and Aaron Rodgers back. So I'm not going to say that we're ready to take over, but I do think we'll give you some competition this year.
Oh yeah, no, definitely the Minnesota Vikings definitely give us a run for our money. If I had to look at it, I mean, on offense, I think the Minnesota Vikings, just doing a quick, review of things before we get into the slate of things on the menu here for the Vikings. I think the Vikings are. I'll just put it hands down. I think they're better than the Packers offensively, especially in the passing game and in the running game. I think Dalvin Cook, is they don't have that 1-2 punch like like Green Bay does, because I know Aaron Jones is he is a top 10 back, but AJ Dillon, we'll see what AJ Dillon brings. But
Right.
you guys still have Alexander Madsen, who's a formidable change of
Yep.
pace back. Put up some good stats in some starts, but I think overall, when I look at the offense, I like the Minnesota Vikings offense this year. Defensively, let's see what happens in terms of them getting after the passer. They got a young secondary that they're kind of grooving in here. So yeah, definitely, I think the Minnesota Vikings present some problems. But moving forward, what are your expectations for Kevin O'Connell? First year head coach, offensive coordinator from the LA Rams, just won a Super Bowl, had one of the best offenses last year. What are your expectations for Kevin O'Connell? I know it was things were running thin with Mike Zimmer there for a little while, too complacent. They brought in a 37-year-old. Do you think that's going to be a problem?
I'm not sure what to think right now. I need to see something, and it's really hard to sit back here. But what I did see was a lot of the players, and I can highlight a couple of them. So Eric Kendricks made some really inflammatory comments about Mike Zimmer's tenure and everything. He's like, living in fear every day is not a way to conduct an organization. And then you've got like Cam Dantzler, the cornerback, was obviously in Zimmer's doghouse from the beginning of the year. And
Mm-hmm.
Zimmer purposely started Rashad Breeland over top of Cam Dantzler. At the end of the year, when you looked at cornerback rankings, at least from PFF, they had Rashad Breeland ranked at like number 98, Cam Dantzler ranked at number 17. And Zimmer kept on doing this to these guys. And I just think it got to be a toxic environment in the locker room. It got to be toxic in terms of game day and people feeling like they you know, every snap that they played, their job was in jeopardy. You can't hold people in fear like that. And I mean, and that's football. That's anybody's job. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, me being military, I can't hold my subordinates in fear. I've been in the Army for 26 years. I mean, I can't operate that kind of
Thanks for
an
serving,
environment.
sir.
I
What's
can't
the turf?
operate that kind of environment with my subordinates and everything and expect to have success and good results. You have to be able to support people. People are going to make mistakes, and you have to be able to recognize that and realize, okay, mistakes happen, but how can we make this a learning experience instead of, nope, you fucked up, you're done, out of here. We're bringing the next guy in. And that's from what I'm hearing from the players that was on last year's team is the major thing with the Zimmer thing and that coaching staff. And yes, they've all been fired. We have a new general manager, young guy, Quasey. We've got young guy, several years younger than me, Kevin O'Connell. I'm not sure what's going to happen because I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict it. I need to see once what happens in preseason, training camp, then preseason, then, and obviously we kick the season off, with you guys coming to town. And I will be at that game. I'll be in row 140, section 5, seat 5 in the end zone. And I'm looking forward to it. But
Big
until I
fan.
see that, I can't put a real finger on it. But I will tell you this, the dynamic in the locker room and what I'm hearing from the players, what they're posting on social media, their interviews and everything, the in the Army we would call it a command climate, right? Because you have command climate surveys that happen every year. And being part of a command team with a captain and a first sergeant or a sergeant major and a lieutenant colonel, or even a full brigadier colonel, depending on what level you're at, the troopers are going to let you know on an anonymous survey, one way or another every year, how you're doing. And just what I've seen from feedback, it's a much, much better command climate or just an operational environment than what was under Zimmer over the past, several years. So, anywho.
And welcome to the show, staple, Prime Sports World staple, TJ Hopkins. How you doing, sir? And just piggybacking off of what Rob said, what do you feel about the expectations for the new head coach, Kevin O'Connell?
Well, everybody should be able to play free. I mean, if you got to play scared for your job like everybody else, then that means your coach is coaching for his job, and that's exactly what was going on. All right, it's kind of hard to play with an open mind when you constantly looking over your shoulder, and it's kind of hard to coach with an open mind when the powers that be are monitoring your every move, and every time you come up short, they looking at you. But it was time for Zimmer to go anyway. Like it was just that ship had ran its course, and that seems to be the trend now. Go younger at the head coaching spot. Kevin O'Connell's, you said what, 37?
37 years old, yeah.
All right, so he's only a few years older than some of the vets on his team, right? So that, I mean, like he's coming with an offensive cachet. I say he just won a Super Bowl. Like his offense should pick up right where it left off. I mean, I get it. Kirk Cousins isn't Matt Stafford in terms of arm talent, but the weapons he has outside is pretty like that's pretty comparable to what he had in LA. All right, especially at the receiver spot. Like you got arguably the best duo in football. Like if Vikings fans was to say Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are the best 1-2 punch at receiver in football, like you can't call them crazy for thinking that. So I think they should be just like offensively they should be fine.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, offensively, yeah, you're right, TJ. Just to piggyback off of what you were saying, offensively, they're going to be they were top 12 last year. This year, I expect them to take another step. This year, I think they're going to be within that top 10 range. I think Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson are the like probably like a top 5 duo in the league. We see them all all through with the Bengals, the Chargers. We saw with the Bucks. The Cowboys had a good little trio. And then you throw KJ Osborne in there. He's a pretty formidable third wide receiver threat. And then the help of Irv Smith Jr. I mean, very
Yep.
athletic tight end. He's coming off a big injury. but he's an athletic guy, and I raved about Irv Smith Jr. for years, for the last couple seasons, especially when he was healthy, a season and a half ago, and then another year with that offensive line, Cleveland Ezra, Garrett Bradbury, Christian Darius. I mean, this line is really solid. So nothing on the offense really, he's gonna have a lot to work with offensively. Now, defensively is another story, right? So let's talk about the defensive side, right? So you got Zadarius Smith, Daniil Hunter, both coming off injuries. But even with that, they were still number 2 in the league in sacks with 51, right? And then
Right.
they were top 5. They were top 5 in turnover differential at plus 11 last season. So they knew how to get to the quarterback and wreak some havoc, but they gave up too many plays on the ground and through the air. Rushing defense was what, 26 last year, 28th in passing defense. So how do you guys think moving forward, offensively? What do you guys think about Kevin O'Connell? Do you think he's gonna improve that defense as well?
Well, that's what
So,
coordinators are for.
Yeah, D coordinator. Yeah. Do you think the new D coordinator, who is Lee?
Ed Donzel.
Yeah,
It's Ed Donzel. Is a DC. Here's what I see.
Yeah, Ed Donzel. From Denver.
You look at what happened, and there were 7 games that the Vikings lost because of points that they gave up in the last 2 minutes. It was defensive collapses, and really most experts and analysts and everything else blamed it on just the actual game plan and the coaching. If they would have not done that and they would have actually held their ground and won those games, the Vikings would have been 15-2 last year. And I mean, that's significant from being like an 8-win team to being a 15-win team. And I think you nailed it, Izzy. The offense is right there, especially, I mean, we can't overstate what Darisaw did bringing that in as a rookie to the left tackle once he solidified himself. And the passing game is on par. And also throw into everybody that you mentioned, Emir Smith-Marset, he contributed. Irv Smith Jr., yes, going to be a contributor. Don't forget, now having Keenan Gwangwu out of Iowa State, basically running back 3, but special teamer. He actually, for the first time in a couple of years, ran a couple kicks and stuff back for touchdowns. He's going to contribute more too. But getting back to the defense, I think they were just so discombobulated. The front 7 wasn't bad last year, you guys. And you even said, Izzy, up until the past week, 2 weeks of the season, they were leading the league in sacks, finished number 2. That stuff is there, and in fact, it's gotten better. And to address the run game, they brought Harrison Phillips in from the Buffalo Bills, who's arguably in a 3 technique, one of the best run stuffers in the league at the 3 technique, because we got a couple different guys that are rotating in and out at nose. And then, they bring Zadarius Smith, and the thing about his back injury, whatever, the thing with Daniil Hunter, whatever. But if they're healthy, that front 7 is massive. The biggest questions is in the secondary. Now, I fully feel that with the new coaching staff, Cameron Dantzler at cornerback number 2 will revert to the promising form that he showed in his rookie year. And then they brought Shannon Sullivan in from the Green Bay Packers to play, nickel corner when they're in the nickel. And, the Vikings, even though converting from a 4-3 to a 3-4, are going to be in the nickel most of the time. So that guy will see some playing time there. And then, of course, you've got, Patrick Peterson, the veteran over there. But we drafted a rookie, Booth. Not Alexander Booth.
Andrew Booth.
Andrew Booth. Yes. We got Andrew Booth and everything sitting in there. And, it does take about 2 to 3 years to fully develop a corner. But if they can show some flashes, and then my opinion on drafting Lewis Seen, who is just went out there and said foremost, I'm here to stack bodies. I mean, that's like a military phrase right there. I believe that, and I wasn't displeased with what I saw out of Cam Bynum, the rookie last year, when Xavier Woods was not able to play. I thought Cam Bynum played better than Xavier Woods did in every down he was in. I think they drafted Scene to be Harrison Smith's replacement in the future, but no matter how they mix those guys up,
That's
because
a big
Harrison Smith,
that's a big safety. That's a big
yeah,
safety tandem duo right there. And we'll just go right into it. I mean, you kind of stressed on it about their questions in the secondary. They got a little bit of youth with experience, right? Harrison Smith, Patrick Peterson. You got those guys. You just drafted Andrew Booth, Lewis Seen. Andrew Booth was probably the best ball hawk coming out of college football. Cam Dantzler,
yep.
Chandon Sullivan's your nickel guy. TJ, what do you think about the do they have more questions in the secondary than people are, giving them, credit for,
Not really, not anymore. Because that young secondary that they had last year, now they got some experience under their belt, right? And for you don't have a choice but to grow. All right, like Patrick Peterson's not going to be able to play forever. Harrison Smith ain't going to be able to play forever. So now it's time for those young dudes to, all right, I got to come into my own now. I get it; it takes a while, but in the division that you play in, you kind of got to grow up quick, right? Like some of the guys that you see across the NFL, like not to mention, again, you're going against two of the best receivers in football every day in practice, so you don't have a choice but to get better.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and then you got to play Aaron Rodgers twice a year.
Yeah.
So you definitely got to be prepared no matter who's the wide receivers on the other side of the field. And then Jared Goff is no slouch. And I know Justin Fields he's coming in his second year, but we can only expect him to get better. He has a lot of abundance of talent. There's some good wide receivers in the NFC. I mean, some young guys. I mean, you got Amon-Ra in Detroit. You got Lee Mooney in Chicago, and then Green Bay is a whole different story. We don't know what they're going to be like, in terms of the wide receiver. But I think this, in terms of the secondary, I think the two guys that they added in the draft, Booth and Scene, I think when you look at Scene, he's part of one of the best college defenses ever. And then Andrew Booth is a ball hawk. And I would say he's a good cover corner, better than average cover corner, but he's just a ball hawk, and that could attribute to guys getting past him sometimes. But man, he gets after it. So I think when I look at the secondary, I think we'll see something better than what people are expecting.
Well, and you look at Lewis Seen. I mean, Lewis Seen was the MVP of that national college championship game, and then Booth. I was actually at the stadium. I went up to the stadium and did the draft party there. I didn't go to Vegas. I just went up to US Bank Stadium. When we drafted Scene and traded back for him, I was actually kind of pissed. I figured they would have taken Booth. I was like, well, you can't take him at 12. You trade back to about number 17 or 19 where he's projected to go, because that's where Booth was projected to go the entire time. The fact that they got Scene at the end of the first round, like pick 31 or whatever it was, and then turn around and grab Booth at number 42. Oh my goodness. I mean, after I calmed myself down a little bit and thought about it, I'm like, you know what? They actually probably did something really good here.
Yeah, it wasn't Scene at 32 and then Booth at 42.
Yeah, Scene at 30. Yeah, not 31, 32 and then 42. Yeah, and I was like, you know what? The thing that sucks is giving the picks to the Lions and the Packers to draft two of the better, maybe the best wide receivers in the draft, which doesn't help us because our weak suit is the cornerback position. But fuck. I mean, what we got out of in return, I mean, that doesn't suck either. So
not at all. And so last topic is this going to be the last hurrah for Kirk Cousins? I mean, he's been there 4 years already. This is going to be his fifth season. He's taking you guys to the playoffs. What, 3 out of 4 years, if I'm not mistaken? Is it 3 out
I
of 4
think two,
years? Is it
twice.
two out of 4
Yep.
years? He's gotten past the first round once. That wild card game against, I believe that was against the Saints, if I'm not mistaken. The push off,
Yeah.
the
We
push
went
off
down.
with Kyle Rudolph.
Yep, we went down, beat the Saints there. Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I think to be honest, it was once.
So
It,
so is
but
this the last hurrah for Kirk Cousins? Let me just put this into perspective, though. The last 3 years, Kirk Cousins has literally been a top 10 quarterback statistically in the regular
yeah,
season. So what do you guys think on that?
No, because who out there is gonna who's out there that's better than him? Who are you gonna get?
I agree 100% on that. I mean, there's nothing that I'm seeing in the next couple of draft classes, and Kirk Cousins in the past 3 years has put up comparable numbers to Aaron freaking Rodgers. I mean, the only difference is it hasn't translated out to wins. But when you look at wins, it's not a quarterback stat; it's a team stat. It takes 53 people on a roster to all come together and contribute to make wins happen. Um, I look at the potential, and this offense, and you hit on it at the beginning of this, Izzy, has a potential to be a fucking monster this year. I mean, Kevin O'Connell has come out and said, I'm going to make Justin Jefferson the new Cooper Kupp of the NFL, but he's going to be even better. I mean, they're clearly moving on from Zimmer's conservative ass, run first and let's beat up Dalvin Cook to make sure he's injured for at least 4 or 5 games every year type of thing. Is to where, no, we're going full air attack. Watch the fuck out, because here comes Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, Amir Smith-Marset, Irv Smith Jr., and oh, by the way, they've even had Dalvin Cook lining up as a wide receiver and have Matt Madison and Kenny Nwangu in the backfield. They're like, dare us, watch what we do on offense. And then, of course, the defense is going to take some time to come along. I'm not going to put out any stats or projection records because, to be honest, there's too many unknowns. We're moving from a 4-3 to 3-4 defense. We have a new coaching staff. But I will say the philosophy that I've seen in the interviews and even in minicamp and OTAs and everything else, I like where they're going. I really do.
Definitely. And welcome to the show, Al, the Viking fan.
Hey, what up, panel? How y'all doing, man? Shout out Rob. Shout out Izzy. Brother, I don't know you, but shout out to you too. Yeah, I appreciate you. Shout out PSW, man.
Anyways, we kind of stuck a little bit too long on that. Moving forward to their draft, they went ahead and we talked about Lewis Cine, Andrew Booth. The second round they got a massive guard out of LSU. Who's just a mover. Brian Asamoah, the linebacker out of Oklahoma, who was a just volume tackler, one of the best tacklers in the nation. They got the kid Kylie Evans. Really didn't watch much of him at Missouri, but from what I hear, he's got a lot of potential. I really like the 5th round pick out of Minnesota, the defensive end. Yeah, he's got a lot of potential, definitely to back up Zadarius Smith and he could turn into a defensive end instead of more of an outside linebacker is what I'm saying. In Daniil Hunter. So, and then they went ahead and drafted Ty Chandler, running back out of North Carolina. Went ahead and, got Verdell Lowe out of Illinois. And then in the 6th round, then again in the 6th round, they got Jalen Naylor from Michigan State, who's I've watched a little bit of Jalen Naylor. He's a nice pick. And then in the 7th round, they got Nick Muse, tight end out of South Carolina. So, what do you guys think about the draft here?
So Ed Ingram, actually, from what I've heard from OTAs and mini camps and stuff like that, he is in the mix to actually have a chance to be a starting guard. It's probably going to be on the right guard side and everything. Brian Asamoah, outstanding pick. Every mock draft that I ever seen had us grabbing him. I just didn't think it was going to happen because I thought he would go a lot earlier. I'm really happy to have him. And then just jumping down to Jalen Naylor, that's a long shot because our wide receiver and pass catching group is loaded, but I think they'll find a way for that kid to make special teams, and then he's something that's on the back burner that's always in reserve because injuries always happen and everything, but the teammates like him. The quarterbacks have said good things about him on OTAs and mini camps and everything. I think they'll find a way to put Jalen Naylor on this roster or at least a practice squad somehow.
Al, what's going on, man? What do you think about
No,
this?
I'm not big on Booth. That's just me. He injury prone. He stay injured. I'm not big on him. What I see the Vikings going into this season, what I see as a Viking, I believe that our team is a balanced team. And what I mean by balance is we got the offense, we got the defense. Well, you said previous, hey, about the safety tandem with Sign and Harrison. And yeah, okay, that's all cool. But at the same time, even to me, Booth is nothing but an Alexander. You know what I'm saying? That's all he is. And then when I look at my offense with Kirk Cousins, Kirk Cousins is the leader. Kirk Cousins has done his job. He has earned his money. That's first and foremost. What I don't see is our biggest deficiency is on the offensive line. Now, when we grab Ingram out of LSU, okay, you can put him there. Then my boy we got from Virginia Tech, but we done drafted, we done drafted linemen the last couple of years. It's not getting us nowhere. Is that a Spielman fault? Is that a Zimmerman fault? I mean, O'Connell, he ain't even had the chance yet. What I can say about O'Connell, you did what you did, but when you a Minnesota Viking, you have to take the punches, man, because we take the punches every year, So with that being said, I just look at it like I'm like Rob. I'm piggyback off Rob. I don't make no predictions or nothing until the party gets started, till the season starts. But what I do see is that we're more of a balanced team than what we have ever been. So I do believe we're a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. I honestly, I think you guys have the best offense in the NFC North. And I think defensively, if you guys are going to piggyback off of, adding Darius Smith is huge with Danielle Hunter. You can't double team neither one of those guys. So It's going to be hard for offensive tackles and for offensive coordinators to game plan around a defensive line that was second in the league in sacks. Now, in the secondary, we kind of touched on it earlier. Youth with experience, Patrick Peterson, Harrison Smith. You had Booth, you had Seen, you had the kid from the big kid, 6'2". Kylie Evans is big. That's a big
Dantzler?
corner.
You talking about Dantzler?
Yeah, Caleb Evans.
Caleb Evans. Another year under his belt.
If they can develop a Caleb Evans, I'm happy with it. But like Alvin said, I'm kind of confused too because now, obviously you look at last year's draft, we got Wyatt Davis sitting there. So Ed Ingram is going to battle Wyatt Davis, and he's going to battle whoever else is left and everything for that right guard position. And for whatever reason, it was injury. We drafted Wyatt Davis last year, and supposedly one of the better guards in the draft, and everybody's like, oh, kudos, thumbs up. Dude never fucking saw the field. And yeah, I get the whole injury thing, but how much of it was, Zimmer and the coaching staff and whatever? I want to see what that guy does. Battling, whoever the fuck of the three, and we let a lot of people go, but then you got Ed Ingram. To me, that's, let's find out what we got with those two guys. High round draft pick from last year, and then Ed Ingram, a higher round draft pick from this year. Christian Darrisaw was a blessing at left tackle. God damn, that made such a big difference once he got settled in, and so on and so forth. And then in terms of the secondary, with Booth, like I said, Alvin, I do agree with you to a certain extent because it takes about 2 to 3 years to develop a cornerback. If he sees time as a rookie, he probably is going to look like Mackenzie Alexander. But I'm hoping that he learns from Patrick Peterson and some of the other guys in the coaching staff, and just progresses. Are we going to rely on him as a rookie? Fuck, I hope not. But we'll see what happens, I guess.
Exactly. I mean, well put. That's what it is, And as far as our back half of the draft, those guys hope they make the team. Now, I'll tell you who will make the team. The boy we got from North Carolina. He will, because people don't pay attention. Viking fans don't pay attention.
This out for Al chimes in. Hey, I dropped the link. Everybody, I dropped the link to the podcast. So if you guys want to join, go ahead.
Yeah, but what I was saying is the guy we got from North Carolina, the running back.
Ty Chandler.
Yeah, he'll eventually will take Alexander's spot if we don't pay Alexander.
Yeah.
So, we got to figure that out. I mean, we got situations in the bank that we got to think on, but I mean, when it come down to Viking football, I give up on giving predictions. I do. I just.
Oh, me too. Jesus, I
give up.
I'm not going to predict nothing.
Nothing.
No. There's too many unknowns right now going into the season. And
I said speed.
To be honest, Alvin and Izzy, I've said that at this point in time, with the new direction the offensive going, where they're clearly said this is going to be a pass-first offense, and Vikings fans would love to shoot me in the head for this, I'd be okay if we traded Dalvin Cook and we had Alexander Madison, Keenan Gwangu, and Ty Chandler as our running backs, because Alexander Madison is good enough to get the job done in an offense that's not run first. When you open up the offense with the passing game and you back those guys out of the box, Alexander Madison has had 180-yard games before. I'm fine if that's what the money thing is or whatever. And I love Dalvin Cook. I want Dalvin Cook to be a Viking. But to be honest, if they traded Dalvin Cook tomorrow to somebody else, now clearly being a passing first team, with Alexander Madison being the number one, I wouldn't give a shit. You froze up, Izzy.
Yeah, he froze up on me.
You're circling, Izzy.
Boy, how you gonna do a podcast and your shit frozen up?
I don't know. I got the circle spinning right now. But do you agree, Alvin, while he's coming back on, do you agree, though? I mean, if we're really legitimately going to come out and we're going to hammer it as hard as I think we are, and it's a pass-first offense, does it really matter if we have Dalvin Cook or not?
No, it does. In my opinion, Rob, yes, because, Dalvin, okay, you got to remember, Madison is more or less a downhill runner. I can use Cook several different ways. So I want the ability back instead of the power back. Because the what you're trying to do is you're trying to build a juggernaut offense. Mm-hmm. So if I can use Dalvin Cook in the slot, if I can use Dalvin Cook on the wing, if I can use Dalvin Cook as a number one or in the backfield, I'm gonna take that. I can use that. Madison, I can't use him. Mathewson, I can't use him like that. Because he's a downhill runner.
And piggybacking off of the kid from North Carolina, Speed Kills, he ran a 4.38 and a 40 as well.
And that's what I'm saying. And we got him like a slash back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Madison is, if you take away CJ Ham, the fullback, Madison of the backs is the bigger guy that's going to be your north-south guy that, kind of like back in the day, what they always joked about with like Leroy Horde or even even Mo Williams. It's
that
like
formation, formation.
If you need 1 yard, I'm going to get you 3. If you need 4 yards, I'm going to get you 3. You know, that was Mo Williams. That was Leroy Horde. That's kind of Alexander Madison right now. And the finesse guys, the guys with speed that can hit the corner, the outsides, do the fancy stuff. And Minnesota is, well, and we don't know what's going to happen this year because we got a new offense. But up until now, Minnesota was still one of the few teams that pulled their center. And Alvin, you know what I'm talking about. You pull the center and you go and you do the run blocking and everything.
Right,
That's
right.
a big part of what made the edge runs and run it outside successful for Dalvin Cook and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're going to continue doing that because, and we can't talk on that. We just haven't seen what Kevin O'Connell's offense is going to look like yet.
Yeah.
One thing though is I will throw this up there, and this is something that doesn't get talked about enough. Play action passing. The Vikings last year were dead last in the league with 31%. On play action passing. The league average was about 48. The highest team, I believe, was the Seattle Seahawks. It went like 67 or 68%. The Vikings were dead last on play action passing, and Kevin O'Connell has also addressed that and said, this is going to change. Play action is going to be a big part of the game this year. And now you got Irv Smith Jr. coming back. You have all these options with all these great running backs. The tight ends, we could go 5 wide and have, an amazing set.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to make a big difference.
But Rob, to piggyback off what you just said, you just brought up the play action, and that's Kirk Cousins' best game.
That is
his best game.
And that's what.
And one thing that Minnesota does that the other 31 teams in the NFL, name how many teams you know that actually have a fullback like the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, C.J. Ham is one of only like 2 legit fullbacks I can think of
in the league. Yeah, the other one is more of an H-back. This Kyle Juszczyk is more of like
Juszczyk, yes, and he's not even really a fullback. He's just a back, right?
Yeah, and C.J. Ham, he's your old school fullback, lead block back, come through the hole, take care, knock that linebacker out, get to the second level.
Yep.
You know, a guy that's gonna be on releases, a guy that's gonna he's gonna go to the flat and get you 5 to 10 yards when you need it. He's got good hands out the backfield. I like CJ. I didn't like this game, and he's a very integral part to the run offense. What would you guys give? What would you guys give this draft class a grade?
As far as the Vikings draft,
now
I'll give it a B+.
I gotta say the same thing, a B+, man. I mean, I'm not mad at all. I love it.
I'm not. Yeah,
I'll B+.
Give it a B+.
Because you gotta look, Israel. We stay stable. Granted, okay. You got people that be like, the Vikings was on some, excuse my language, dumb stuff or whatever. We traded within our conference and whoop-de-whoop. That don't mean nothing. How y'all know we didn't trade certain picks to make ourselves better? Or we seen it? Just like they ain't seen Lewis sign where however you pronounce his name. They ain't seen him on the field. They ain't seen him on the field.
We see him.
They ain't seen nothing yet. That's why I say I don't make no predictions, Israel.
Yeah.
I just wait for the party to get started, man. First week September.
If I gotta look at potential, I like the kid that they got out of Oklahoma.
Awesome.
He's a monster.
He's a natural 3-4 linebacker. He's a full-time. He's plug place guy, right?
But
Israel. They drafted who they drafted last year. He's gonna be fighting for some PT or some snacks with that guy.
Izzy. So here's the thought process. One of the better and one of the best linebackers out of the draft. Now Anthony Barr is no longer with the Vikings, and they brought in
Jordan Hicks.
Now, Asamoah is going to be the replacement for Hicks very soon.
Exactly.
And that dude can fucking hit.
Exactly.
I'm telling you what. I watched some videos on him That
Asamoah,
dude
yeah.
gets shit done. But yeah, Alvin, it's Lewis Seen, and you know what his new nickname is on the Vikings team? Is Crime. Because they call him Crime Scene, because when he hits somebody, he fucking lays them out, and it's like a crime
Man,
scene. They gotta go lay
that is
tape
gonna
around
be.
him.
You know what? Lewis Seen and Harrison Smith are gonna be probably the hardest hitting safety duo in the league. I'm gonna call it right now.
But
I'm
how
looking
do you
forward to it.
know? How do you know? Because
Because
like,
I've seen enough
hold
of
up, hold
Lewis
up.
Seen.
But check me out, Israel. Are we gonna stay in a man? Are we gonna run a constant cover two? Or what we gonna stay
It
zone? We
don't
don't.
matter.
You know what I'm saying? We
It
don't
don't
know what we
matter.
going with on this 3-4.
It don't
Okay.
matter. It don't matter because Lewis. I've seen enough of Lewis Seen at the University of Georgia to know that he's bringing the wood. And I've seen it. And out of the other kid out of Notre Dame, Kyle Hamilton, who's another big safety, and who's more of a rangy ball hawk. Lewis Seen brings the wood. He brings the wood, and everybody
He can
knows
bring
that.
the wood, but out of a cover two, he can't do nothing.
Yeah, but
over the middle. You won't want to. You already got a rangy
Where
guy
cover
in
two,
Harrison Smith, who's like a Kyle Hamilton.
he gotta in a cover two, he gotta back up. He gotta hold that half of the field, that hash, same as Harrison Smith. So it all depends on how O'Connell is gonna use them.
Was
That's the
Ed
thing. Yeah,
Donatel,
that's why I say I
so
can't make no
I'm
predictions.
glad you brought that up because Ed Donatel used to be the secondary coach for those back-to-back Denver Broncos Super Bowl championship teams back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And so he's a long-time defensive coordinator. That's his specialty is secondary. And that's the reason why they brought him in, right? So he can work with the secondary and to kind of bring those guys along. So, I think
what I've seen and what I've heard out of the coaching staff and just looking at camp, and I'm talking about OTAs and minicamp, what they're looking at doing is, yes, they're moving to 3-4 base defense, but they're going to be in the nickel, so a 3-4 nickel about 80% of the time. So what's going to happen is you're not going to necessarily see a cover two or a Tampa two. You'll see some single high safety, but you'll see a lot of different mixed schemes in there, whether it's a mixture of cover two, Tampa two, single high, what have you. But also, Lewis Seen as a safety that is 6 foot and 220 pounds.
Yeah, he's 6'4",
210 pounds. Also runs a 4.39 40.
Yeah, he's a 6'3", 6'4" safety.
Yeah, he's as fast as a corner can be. So I look at them moving some single high stuff around. Alvin possibly fucking with the Tampa 2, but I think they will kind of do some cover 2 and bank on his speed a little bit. And he won't be out there every play 2 because I bet you Cam Bynum gets a fair amount of playing time spelling things. They're going to mix things up. They're going to keep things confused. That's why I hate talking about this shit right now. Like, what is the date? July 20th. July 20th is the worst date to talk about this shit. I want to see some training camp. I want to see some preseason games before I can really say anything. But that's
Rob, if we run with the nickel, I don't want to run. If we say we throw in a nickel, I'd rather run a big nickel. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that, throw out the bigger extra linebacker. So with that, I'd rather do that to apply pressure just in case my secondary is weak. To where I can still get my Zadarius Smith, my Daniil Hunter, my Phillips, my Pierce, any from that front seven. With that big, I can throw out a faster corner or a bigger linebacker or something. And then my secondary, that's my safety zone. But I don't know how the Vikings gonna go about it.
For those hold on. For those watching, if you don't know what a big nickel is, on a nickel defense, you have 3 cornerbacks in there. On a big nickel, you usually take your biggest safety and you put them in the slot position where a cornerback would be. Now, I don't know who's bigger between Lewis Seen, Harrison Smith, or Bynum or whatever, but that's where you bring your biggest safety up on the big nickel position, and they're up there, and they're also a threat to rush the passer. They're a threat to be able to wreak havoc in the running game. If you think it's going to be a really hard, everybody's lined up. They're going to pull the center. They're going to run at you. You have your big nickel dude up there. It's normally your biggest bodied safety up there.
So
I could see them using Lewis Seen in the big nickel to do that quite a bit, especially in running plays, because the run defense, obviously, Alvin, we kind of really sucked at that last year, and it definitely needs to get a lot better. And Harrison Smith
and Russian D.
And the fucked up thing of it is they could have done a lot of big nickel last year and stopped some of that run stuff, but Zimmer never wanted to move Harrison Smith up in to do a big nickel thing to help stop that shit.
I don't know, Rob. Why I don't know, because when you got this boy is 6'2", 240 or 220 or whatever, the man is a head hunter. Let him go hunt. Let him go do what he got to do, man. The man wasn't a first-round draft pick out of Notre Dame for nothing. Look at his film when he was at Notre Dame. The man was a head hunter. The man is still a head hunter to this day. Harrison Smith is one of the top, if not top 10 safeties in the league right now. If I'm wrong, correct me.
But let's move on from the draft. Let's talk about the free agency stuff. We kind of touched on it. The big additions: Darius Smith, Harrison Phillips, Chris Reed. You got Jordan Hicks. We touched on it about him, and then the big departures. You lost Tyler Conklin to the Jets, who was a decent serviceable.
A nobody.
Yeah, Xavier Woods. You lost Xavier Woods, who Rob touched on it. Cam Godley, who's the third cornerback in that team. He played a little bit better than Xavier Woods. You lost your veteran linebacker in Anthony Barr. Sheldon Richardson is another guy that you lost as well to free agency, and you lost Mason Cole, who was a backup, I believe, center to the Steelers.
A center and a guard, yes, but yes.
Center and a guard, yes, and then also guys that you lost. You lost Chad Beebe, who was a fast slot guy, special teamers. Lost Dakota Dozier, another guard, Tashawn Bauer, who's an edge rusher to the Vikings, Nick Vigil to the Cardinals, who's a linebacker. So what do you guys think about the additions that you guys brought on?
They better than what we lost. They better than what we lost. If you ask me, they better them. Everybody you just named is a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, except for Anthony Barr. I think Anthony Barr is a guy. I don't know if he's I don't know if he's a nobody, but and honestly, Sheldon Richardson. I don't think Sheldon Richardson has signed anywhere, has he? I think he's still unrestricted free agents. Yeah, I think he's still unrestricted free agent. So
let me touch on Anthony Barr.
Yeah, go ahead.
I am always going to be an Anthony Barr fan because he was the first one that Zimmer drafted and everything, and then the second year, Zimmer drafted Eric Kendricks to go with him. Those two put the double A gap blitz on the freaking map again, and were great for many years. But to be honest, I have not been impressed with Anthony Barr in at least 3 years.
Since he hurt
injured, and
since he hurt Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, his effort
he ain't done nothing. That's karma.
Yeah, his effort just hasn't been there. Tyler Conklin did the best that he could when last year was supposed to be Irv Smith Jr.'s breakout year, and he tears the ACL in training camp, never even sees one single game. Tyler Conklin did the best that he could. I love the dude. Best wishes. But is he Irv Smith? Is he anything else? No.
Not to cut you off, Rob. But then we get the boy. What's the boy from San Diego? We got the Vigil. What's his name?
Vigil? No. You guys. I think you guys. I think Nick Vigil. He went to the Cardinals. He signed with the Cardinals. He was on the linebacker. He was on the Vikings last year.
Yeah, Nick Vigil was, but the thing of it is, we were in the nickel defense 85% of the time, so nobody ever seen Nick Vigil because you're running two linebackers and three corners. So he really contributed jack shit to anything. To be perfectly honest, I don't hate the guy or anything, but he didn't contribute. Now, you look at the additions. Okay, so Zadarius Smith. Now, the Packer fans, and Izzy, I'm not insulting you,
No, it's
but they're
okay.
like,
Go ahead.
oh, you got a guy that's got a back injury. It's like, motherfucker, this is the first injury he's ever had. If the medical doctors clear him, he's probably going to be okay. And yes, we understand he's a pass rusher, and he's not particularly good at the run defense.
No, he's
I'm
not.
hoping Zadarius Smith teaches him and Eric Kendricks teaches him some things about how to not suck on that end of things. You look at Harris.
My problem with Zadarius Smith was a lot of times this is why he was so bad at the run defense, because he over pursued and he got sucked in on a lot of runs, you know. And also,
but what do you expect out of a pass rusher, bro?
I know that, but also a lot of tackles when they would run those stretch plays, they'd kick them out. They kick them out a little easier than what you'd want. But in the pass rush, I mean, you know, pass rushers are at a premium. Zadarius Smith is a double-digit pass rusher.
Well,
and next to Daniil Hunter, if you have those guys coming, it's gonna be a lethal combination of pass rushers. And then you get the kid from the Cardinals, Jordan Hicks, who's a really good linebacker. Really good. You got
to remember he old though. You got to remember he old.
Oh, I mean, but he's still.
That ain't nothing but a little 2-3 year deal.
When you're talking about straight bringing the heat on pass rush, and it's not when it's an option or a play action or everything, it's clearly that opposing team is down by 14 points. They're throwing the ball. You have Zadarius and you have Daniil Hunter and everything else that we got in that front seven. Oh yeah, you're fucked.
You're fucked.
Trust me.
Oh yeah.
But then, it's the other nuances in between. You know,
and then adding the kid, the guy from the Bills, Phillips.
Harrison Phillips. Like I said, Harrison Phillips at the 3 technique, one of the best run stuffing. In fact, I will go out on a limb. I think he was the best run stuffing 3 technique in the league last year, and we got him.
51 combined tackles out of the 3 technique. That is really heavy right there.
But I believe if the Vikings
with double teams, you know, stuff like that.
I understand that, but I believe if the Vikings run a cover 1 all season, we're gonna be all right. If we run a cover 1 and just drop that one safety back, we're gonna be all right.
Well, you got well. Then now in the cover 1, you're expecting, you know, the young guys to play man.
Period.
Well,
let me see where your game is at. Let me see where your game is at.
There's actually, with the speed that Lewis Seen has, there's intelligence with what Alvin is saying.
Oh yeah.
Because you're gonna drop the one guy back, which is Harrison Smith, he's the eraser, he's the hard hitter. You're counting on that 4.39 speed out of Lewis Seen to play man if you're doing single one coverage. And so there actually is intelligence behind what Alvin's saying on that scheme, and possibly coaching staff sees this. We just haven't seen jack shit because we haven't seen camp or any preseason games yet. So it's hard to say. There's intelligence behind what he's saying.
What did you guys grade the free agency class that you guys brought in?
I give it a B.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I give it a B. I think. Nah, you know what? Yeah, I'll give it a B. Possibly a B plus, just because the 2 guys you added in Harrison Phillips and Zadarius Smith, 2 great additions to your line. You know, one great addition to your run defense, and then another addition. If Zadarius Smith is anything like he was 2 years ago, you guys got a freaking beast in the pass rush. So I give it a B plus.
I tell you what, if you want to move it up to an A, there's a guy that's still out there right now, and I have no fucking clue why the Vikings are not moving on this. But if they picked up J.C. Treader to replace Gary Bradbury, I'd move it from a B to an A. But no, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Why is nobody picking up J.C. Treader? I mean, fuck. I would love to have J.C. Treader be the center on this team. Why the fuck is nobody picking him up? Is there something I don't know? Is he injured? Or I understand he's an older dude, but son of a bitch, he's been one of the best at his position for years and years. If we found a way,
I don't think they'll pick him up, but I think you know, in the long run, I think the line will be fine. Moving forward to their schedule, and we just lost Al, but it's all good. He might come back. Moving forward to the schedule, Rob, week one, let's do some predictions on the schedule, and then we'll cut it off. Week one,
All right.
we got the Packers. We got the Vikings going right into Lambeau. Week one. The Vikings, Packers going right into Minnesota. You're going to be at that game. Who do you got winning?
So this is the part that I really struggle with because there's just too many unknowns to really make any intelligent things. Predictions basically on July 20th of the year because I just haven't seen enough. I mean, having a new 3-4 defense, having all new coaches, having a new offensive philosophy. Now, this is the one thing I'll say. The talent of the players on the team tells me it's multiple digit win, double digit wins, whatever, but there's so many variables. I'll do the best that I can. Based on just sheer talent. And that just doesn't win you games. You have to have the coaching, you have to have the game plan, you have to have the execution. I'm sorry, it's just a small screen. I'm on my phone, so I'm leaning in. I probably look creepy.
You're good. I'll go ahead with my first prediction. I'll go ahead with my first prediction. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's gonna be they're gonna split with the Packers. Usually Green Bay plays good in Minnesota, and Minnesota plays good in Lambeau. So I'm gonna go with Green Bay winning week one. And I'm going to go with Minnesota winning in Lambeau later down in the year. Week is that 17? Week 17?
Yeah, I think so.
So I got them split.
I'm going to go the opposite with you. Green Bay's only ever won twice in U.S. Bank Stadium. That crowd is going to be hyped like none other. It's an afternoon game. I think we lose in Lambeau, and I think we win in Minnesota.
In Minnesota, okay. And then next game they go to Philly. And they play, that revamped offense and Philly, good run offense. They're gonna test that run defense of Minnesota. Who do you got here?
Being in Philly, I don't feel that we take that one. I think we take an L on that.
I'm gonna go. I'm actually going to go with this is a tough one because I love Philly. I'm actually going to go with the Minnesota Vikings to win this game. I don't know what I picked.
It'll be really close. It'll be really
close. I don't know what I picked. I can't remember what I picked in the preview for the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think I was. No, actually, I wasn't on for that show. So I couldn't predict anything for that show.
Who do you feel will be the quarterback at that point in time in Philly?
Oh, it'll be Jalen Hurts. I got 100%.
Yeah, so that's why I'm kind of thinking Minnesota might actually do this, but it's just the whole road.
I think it's going to be a close game. I think
it's a road concept in Philly,
Philly added A.J. Brown. They still got Dallas Goedert. Devonta Smith is in his second season. He played a lot in college he's pretty much had Jalen Hurts, most of his time in college, and him and Tua or whatever the case is. But when I look at Philly, I think they're going to test Minnesota in the run game. But I think when it comes down to it, I think the X factors are going to be Danielle Hunter, Zadarius Smith, and I know that line's good, but they're gonna really challenge those tackles, and they're gonna get Jalen Hurts a little off his game. I think they're gonna have to rely on the run a little too much, which could make them become conservative in this game. And I think they'll be down because Minnesota will make bigger plays on offense. I think Justin Jefferson, you got Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook. I think that offense is gonna do gonna score points against Philly, even though I think Philly's defense is really good. I still think Minnesota's going to make those bigger plays in the secondary. I think they're going to make those bigger plays in the secondary, even though Philly's got a good secondary too. So, but give me Minnesota on the road, and then
go ahead. And I think Minnesota's offense, the way it's stacking up, if they turn out and perform the way I think they're going to this year, can score points at will on any team. It don't matter. They're and it's just it remains to be seen a road game in a place where we've historically struggled, and they don't have exactly a shitty defense. That's why I'm a little conservative. I could go either way on that. In fact, let me change it. Let me change my pick on that. I'm going to say we're beating Philly there. The last time we played Philly in Philly, we beat them there. I'll change my pick.
He's got
Okay,
a 2-0 to start the season, and then we got Detroit coming into U.S. Bank Stadium.
They're not winning there. They're and here's the thing, and I'll keep it within 15 seconds. I love what the Lions have done in the past 3 years in their drafts. They're going to be better. They're going to win a lot of games this year, but one of them is not going to be in U.S. Bank Stadium. They might beat us in Detroit and everything. I'm fully prepared to say that could happen, but it ain't going to happen in week 3.
No,
I'm going to beat that game, by the way, too.
They're still figuring everything out and everything. And then week 4, they go to New Orleans. That's going to be a tough game. Who do you got?
I got us. I'm not scared of anything New Orleans has out there right now.
I'm actually gonna agree with you, and I'm gonna have the Vikings beating New Orleans. I just don't, I know Jameis Winston's the quarterback. I know, but we don't know their biggest offensive piece, Alvin Kamara. We don't know what's gonna happen. Is he gonna be suspended from that, from the incident that he had in Vegas? We don't know about that. Michael Thomas, hasn't been healthy the last couple seasons. So we're still trying to see what kind of groove he's going to be in. I know the defense in New Orleans is going to be solid, but I mean, just Jefferson, Adam Thielen, like you said, they can score, they can get up and down with the best of them. And I think in New Orleans, I think Minnesota goes in there and gets it done.
Yep.
In my opinion. And then Chicago, week 5, Chicago comes to U.S. Bank Stadium. Who do you got?
I got that. That's going to be a massacre. They stand no chance.
Yeah, we're gonna sweep it. I got Chicago winning. I got Chicago winning that game. And then week 6, they go.
What? You got Chicago winning?
No. I mean, I got Minnesota winning. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, what the fuck?
I got Minnesota winning. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I twisted my words. Then week 6, we got them going to Miami. Who do you got?
Boy, that's tough because Miami is a lot better than what they look like. To be honest, I think that's where we stumble, and we're probably taking an L there. Even with Tua, they just have it. It just seems like the perfect game to go ahead and fuck up on, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, talent-wise, our roster is way better than theirs, but not so much on the defense. And the biggest holdup is quarterback play. But if we can't do any, here's the thing: Miami don't have a shitty offensive line. If Tua has time and he ends up being the quarterback, he could be problematic for us. I'm really hesitant to really have any kind of confidence to say we're going to go into Miami on the road and win that fucker. I'm actually kind of putting that one up as an L a little bit for me.
Yeah,
I'm
putting that one up as an L too. I just think with Tyreek Hill, with Jalen Waddle, Tua's going to be able to get those guys the football. Running the defense is a lot better than what people think. I think Miami's going to be a 10-11 win team this season.
For sure.
So yeah, give me Miami at home. That's when the Vikings were 4-1. I mean, they're 4-2. You go to Miami. It's Miami's one of those destinations, right? Go a couple days early, have a couple drinks, kind of get distracted on South Beach, and then you got to go play football.
Sure.
So give me Miami winning that one. Then they go into a week 7 bye, and then from the week 7 bye, they bring in the Arizona Cardinals, who Kyler Murray just signed a fat $200+ million contract. So
my God, this
quarterback, but no DeAndre Hopkins this game.
This one is so freaking tough.
Not for me. I got Minnesota winning at home.
I'd like to think we won at home, and I'm going to say Minnesota by 3 on that one.
And then they go on the road. They play Washington, who's a much improved team. Got Carson Wentz this year. Defense is improved as well. Terry McLaurin just signed a big deal as well this offseason. Who do you got in Washington? On the road in Maryland.
Okay, this is what I call a trap game because at this point in time, Minnesota's rolling along. Everybody's feeling really good and happy, high spirits, new coaching staff. We're getting some wins, everything else. But Washington just has enough talent on the road in a very difficult environment. I kind of think we lose this one, dude.
I'm actually gonna go with Minnesota winning this game on the road in Washington. I feel like Washington still has some kinks I mean, Carson Wentz played great last year, and even though I kind of been critical of him, I think in the bigger moments,
Right.
I kind of say Carson Wentz is kind of like digressed as a passer. I think no, he hasn't digressed as a passer. I think Carson Wentz has been solid, but I think just in the bigger moments, I think I want to see more out of him. I think this will be a close game. I got Minnesota squeaking this one out on the road before they
Well,
go into Buffalo in that one.
to
In my
to to
opinion,
be honest,
is an
to
L.
be honest, just bringing up the Carson Wentz things, the Vikings have absolutely owned Carson Wentz. I,
Yes,
I could
yes,
I
yes.
could possibly it's gonna be so fucking close. I could see us possibly winning it. I'm gonna still keep it as an L, but there's a definitely possibility that we could get in there and get that win. But
Uh,
moving to Buffalo at Buffalo, we're getting our fucking ass kicked.
oh yeah, I got Buffalo. Winning 15 games this year, and they're only gonna use maybe a couple. I forget what games I had them losing. I almost had them going 16-1 this year, and I only had the one loss being like the last game of the season where they rest their starters. Honestly, I think Buffalo is that good. Chalk up an L. It's tough to play in Buffalo,
Yep,
upstate New York. It's tough to play there. And Josh Allen's going to be an MVP this year, in my opinion. And then they come
I
back
think
home
so.
and
Yeah.
they play Dallas, the Cowboys, right here. So far in my book, the Minnesota Vikings are 6-3. Who do you got winning when Dallas comes to town?
So last year it was really funny because I was up at the Dallas game. I was like, you know what? If Dak Prescott wasn't injured, I'd take us all day long. But Mike Zimmer has never beat a backup quarterback. So because Cooper Rush is playing for you, we're probably going to lose. And then we did the worst possible footballing that we could possibly do. And of course we fucking lost. Uh, you know what? Dallas at our home stadium, I think we're better than they are. I take us by 3. I
Oh,
think we won.
I'm going Minnesota. I think they're better. I think they're better than Dallas as well. I think Dallas kind of digresses this year a little bit, losing Cooper, losing Gallup, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, Gallup's still there.
Yep.
But losing Cooper is going to be big. Gallup's not going to come back, I don't think, till like the middle of the season,
Yep.
maybe the year.
Yep.
And then he might sit out the whole year. And then you got CD Lamb who's going to be out there. Godly. You
Mari
got
Cooper.
Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is their tight end. But I do love Micah Parsons. Diggs
Right.
in the secondary. I
Yep.
do like their defense a little bit. I think they are going to have a little bit of issues. I think they're a middle of the pack team, but I think Minnesota's better than them at this point. And then New England comes into town. New England and New York, the Jets. Do you got Minnesota winning both of those games at home?
I'm going to tell you what. New England has just been such a nemesis, and we've got such a poor record. But the thing of it is, who the fuck is their quarterback, and what do they got? This might be the first year, and I'm going to go out on a limb. This might be the first year in a long time that we beat New England, and yes, we're going to beat the Jets
Yes.
at
So
our
I,
home
I, I
stadium.
got them winning
Yes.
both of those games at home. I think when it comes to New England, I think Zadarius Smith and Daniil Hunter are gonna eat on Mac Jones. He is
Mac
not a
Jones.
fat, he's
Yes.
not a
Yeah.
quarterback that can get out the pocket. They have some issues on the line. I think Minnesota feasts on New England, and then obviously New York's a young team. They're not ready right now to play at the caliber. I think Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen feast, Dalvin Cook feast, everybody feast, and everybody eats against the Jets. So I got them winning
Right.
both of those games. I got them going on a 3-game win streak here before they go on the road to Detroit. And this, my friend, is my trap game for them. Just like last year, where they lost at the bell, where they lost in overtime. I think it's going to be a similar close game in Detroit that they lose
Yes,
Right.
I've got the Detroit game as a loss as well, because Detroit, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, and all the haters, you can laugh all you want, but Detroit has had 3 to 4 years of absolutely awesome drafting. Dan Campbell is getting their shit together, playing in Ford Field as a division rival. And it's going to be a one tough motherfucker.
Yes, sir. Oh no,
And
I do agree.
I'll give that one to Detroit. I think we split with them. I really do.
Yeah, I think you guys split with Detroit as well. And then Indianapolis comes into town after that. Who do you got winning between them and Indy?
Well, fuck. I mean, Indianapolis defense is just done wonders against our offense. And they're one team that can really, really freaking match up. And that, to be honest, just because of the personnel issues in the matchup, that's the one home loss I've got us taking as Indianapolis. It shouldn't be that way. But
I think you guys don't lose many at home. In my opinion, I think you guys, in my book, you guys haven't lost at home until this game. So I think I'm right there with you. I got Indianapolis giving them their first.
It's just a bad matchup. When it comes to personnel versus personnel, it's a bad matchup. And that's why I think Indianapolis will actually take that.
Probably the best offensive line in football versus a team and one of the best running backs, top 3 running backs in the league versus a team that struggled against the run last year. They're going to be better, in my opinion, against the run this year. That's why they added some guys, but I don't think they're going to make a significant difference against this offensive line. So give me Indy for the win. And then New York, the football Giants coming to town. I got this one as a win for.
Oh yeah, we're kicking their ass. Yeah, that's
a W.
That's just a W.
They're beating both New York teams. And then they the last two road games here. They go to Green Bay. I got them beating Green Bay in Green Bay. I think they play well, on the road in Green Bay. They always seem to shot Green Bay on the road for some reason. So give me Minnesota.
I think that's where we come up a little bit short. I think we're going to split with we're going to sweep the Bears, but I think we split with the Lions. We split with the Green Bay Packers, and I think we win in our stadium and we lose in yours just because.
Yeah, split a home and home, and I think and here we go. The last game in Chicago where Minnesota's had some. They won. I think you guys won last year in Chicago, right? You guys beat the Bears.
We've actually swept them the past 2 years in a row, and I see this being 3.
Yeah. So I got Chicago. I got Chicago losing this one, and Minnesota is a 12-win ball club in my book. They're 12-5. They make the playoffs, and honestly, I'll be real with you here. 12-5 might win them the division. I'm not going to go that far.
I still think the Packers have the possibility of winning 13 games, but there's
13 games.
It's a whole nother podcast to talk about the things that need to happen in order for the Green Bay Packers to do that. But it's going to be damn close between these two teams of who's going to get it done. And I fully believe that both your team and mine will be in the playoffs this year. How it ends up evolving and what ends up happening is a I mean,
one of them
at this point we can't even speculate on it because we just don't know enough.
We just don't know enough. Yeah, you're right. I think, in my opinion, if I'm just gonna look broad out, we haven't seen preseason, we haven't heard the training camp stuff. I think when I'm looking at the outside looking in so far, early season preview, one of these teams is winning 12, one of these teams is winning 13. And or hopefully, or maybe they might tie, right? It might come down to that. So, but it's gonna be head to head, down to the wire. Both of these teams making the playoffs, but I got Minnesota and Green Bay. It's a toss up who's gonna win the division, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the funniest thing of it is Minnesota is not tied with anybody more than they have with the Packers. That's so funny, right? Have you ever looked up? Yeah, we have the most ties between Minnesota and Green Bay. That's kind of funny.
That is funny. But anyways, then this has been a wrap. This has been a show. We've been going on for an hour and 15 or so.
Yeah, you bet.
That's been Rob Haskell's. Everybody, go ahead, click like and share the podcast. Here at Prime Sports World. Thank you for your service, Rob. By the way, and
hey, thanks,
everybody,
Izzy.
be here tomorrow. I will be hosting the Green Bay Packers season preview, so you guys don't want to miss that. But other than that, folks, Rob, you have a good night.
Thanks
My
for having me
friend,
on, buddy.
everybody, man, everybody, thanks for watching the podcast, commenting on the podcast. I'll make sure to drop that link earlier in the show so you guys can join. I'll have some Green Bay fans on here tomorrow, and it should be a fun show tomorrow. But everybody have a great night, and God bless, man.
All right, God bless everybody. Have a good
bless.
night.
Have a nice one, guys. Peace.